Hello and welcome to the top 14. What round is it now? I've gone blank. Round 6? Yeah, round 6 predictions brought to you by DrivingMaul. Hi, I'm Paul, the guy behind DrivingMaul, your best place for rugby predictions and opinion. Well, I like to say that, but last week I predicted that Toulouse would go away to Montpellier and win, and they got absolutely thumped. And I also got called out on YouTube about it beforehand. You're right, I got one totally wrong. I should have stuck with the old philosophy that French teams just can't travel away from home. So that saw me last round. Saw me drop down a few places in a lot of my prediction leagues on Super. So there we go. Anyway, you know what? Cheers. Let's move on. The beer tonight is actually called Wobbly Boot. So who does that remind you of? Bowden Barrett springs to mind, obviously, with his latest performance. But let me know down below which player do you think I'm drinking to with a pint of Wobbly Boot. So let's look at this round of games. We have Toulouse versus Castres, Agen versus Pau. What else have we got there? Bordeaux versus La Rochelle, Perpignan versus Montpellier, Lyon versus Grenoble, Clermont versus Toulon, and Stade Francais versus Racing in the old Paris derby to finish things off. So Toulouse, yes, they went away. They lost at Montpellier, but they definitely rested a whole bunch of players. Castres started pretty well, but again, that age-old thing of winning at home and losing away. Sure, they beat Montpellier in round 1, but they lost away to Toulon, who have not been playing well and are down in 11th. And they lost away to Racing last weekend as well. So, yep, I'm going back to the age-old, the home sides always do better in France, and I'm backing Toulouse to win that one by 7. I mean, Toulouse are sat in 3rd place. They should win most of their home games for the rest of the season, you would think. Next up, we have Agen versus Pau. So 10th versus 12th, but there's only a point separation. There's Agen on 8 points and Pau on 9. And yeah, you probably guessed it already. I'm going for the old home team. I'm backing the home team by 3, not with a great deal of confidence about Agen's form, even though they have they've played 2 at home, won them both, and lost their 3 away games. Surprise, surprise. Looking at Pau's record, they won away, but that was to Grenoble, who obviously are one of the 2 promoted sides and who sit in 13th, second from bottom in the table. Then they've lost at home to Clermont, who are top of the table and have been going very well. So, yeah, Pau's not quite the norm, but there's good explanations why. Next, Bordeaux host La Rochelle. Looking at their records, yet again, Bordeaux, 2 wins and a draw at home and 2 losses away, including to Agen, who are down in 12th. I mean, seriously, not exactly the hardest of opposition. Whereas La Rochelle, again, they've won all their 3 home games against Grenoble, Perpignan, Lyon. Now, admittedly, Grenoble and Perpignan, that's the 13th and 14th, the bottom 2 sides in the league. On the road, though, they've lost to Toulouse and also to Montpellier, giving up over 30 points in both of those games. So, yes, I'm backing Bordeaux, and I'm backing Bordeaux by 7. I think we're going to see a lot of red numbers on the left-hand side of the board. Next up, Perpignan versus Montpellier. Now, this is the one. Here we go. After having said that, this is the exception to the rule. Perpignan have lost all 5 of their games so far. Now, admittedly, they only lost by 2 points to Agen, 6 to Lyon, 9 to Grenoble. But let's remember that Agen and Grenoble are 12th and 13th in the table. Montpellier turned their season around a bit with that 51-point win over Toulouse. 66-15 it finished, an absolute thrashing. The weekend after, they'd lost by 42 points to Lyon on the road. Yes, this is a crazy, crazy league. Sure, Montpellier, 2 wins and a loss at home, a draw and a loss on the road. However, I can't see how they can lose this one. And I'm backing Montpellier by a big 15 points. So not only am I going for the away team, I'm going for the away team big time. Lyon then host Grenoble. We just talked about Grenoble. They've only had one win all season. That was last weekend at home to Perpignan, who are bottom of the table. They've lost all their other games. To be fair, they've not been losing by big margins, though. They lost by 3 to Pau, 3 to Toulouse, and Toulouse is sat third in the table. But that was at home. Lyon, on the other hand, again, had a draw and a win at home, beating Montpellier by that 42 points, which I've just talked about. So, yep, going to back Lyon to win this one rather comfortably, backing Lyon by 10 points. Next up, Clermont versus Toulon. Now, Toulon, had a bit of a shocking start to the season, losing at home to Racing. And we're just talking about how teams always win at home. Then losing away to Pau, who was sat, let's say, towards the bottom half of the table. And then away, and they also lost away to Stade Francais. There's no shame in that, as Stade Francais do sit second in the table, but it was by 27 points. It wasn't even close. Their wins, they did get a nice big win over Agen last weekend, who's just beneath them in the table. But they only beat Castres by one single solitary point at home. Compare that to Clermont's record, 4 wins on the trot to open the season, away to Agen, home to Agen, away to Racing 92, at home to Stade Francais, then away to Pau. Then they lost away last weekend to Bordeaux. So even so, they're back at home. Toulon do not travel. They don't even travel well. So Clermont by a big 15 points at home for me, and to maintain their top of the table position. Final game of the round: Stade Francais against Racing in 92. Stade have had a great start. They only sit 1 point behind Clermont. Just that one loss away to Clermont, beating Perpignan, Bordeaux, Toulon, Pau. Now, if we look at those, though, Perpignan 14th, Bordeaux 9th, Toulon 11th, Pau 10th. They're all in the bottom half of the table. How good is this Stade Francais team, really? They were a bottom half of the table team initially, last season, but they've had a rather easy draw so far, even though they do sit second in the table. Racing, on the other hand, beat Toulon away, like I said at the beginning of the season, but lost to Clermont, beat Agen, beat Castres. Castres in 4th, a decent side there, but lost to Toulouse on the road. I've gone Stade Francais by 10, but the more I talk about it, the more I'm thinking Racing could cause an upset. This would be the first team in the top half of the table that Stade Francais have beaten. So perhaps I'm going a bit big there. But anyway, that's what I've gone for. Stade Francais by 10. Anyway, do let me know down below who you think should be commemorating with my pint of wobbly boot. I say Bernard Barrett springs to mind for me. But let me know who you think. And enjoy whatever rugby you're watching this weekend.